Hello class, welcome back to Mr. McSween Teaching. Today I'm going to show us how to make a bar graph in Google Sheets and move it over to Google Docs. The purpose of this lesson is to help my class with a lab they just did on flow rate and viscosity. So what I've done so far is I opened up a new Google Sheet. If you have not already done this, pause the video and open up a new Google Sheet if you do not know how to do that. Just open up any link in your Google account. You can go into your bar over here and click Sheet and make a new chart. To save time, I'm going to go back to the one that I just made. Yours, just use a blank one. Nothing too fancy needed. Once you have a new one, you can get started. Mine's already been made and filled in. And this is how mine looks so far. You should have two bars going up and down like this. One with your substances. For our lab, that was isopropyl alcohol, water, maple syrup, and corn syrup. I only have 3 in here, but you should have 4. And next to them should be their flow rates that you calculated earlier in the lab. Keep in mind this is not their times, this is going to be their flow rates. So include your units in the bar up here, which is centimeters per second. If you put the centimeters per second in these columns here, it will not graph properly. So if you do centimeters per second, like this in here, it will not graph, just leave the numbers. Keep in mind that you might have decimals in here, so I'm going to change this 2 to a 0.25 because you're going to have some not very round numbers to work with. But make sure you're using as much of the decimal as you can to keep things accurate. So, if you haven't already done this, pause the video and make your bars and your columns, and once you have it like this, unpause the video and come back. Alright, so now that you have your sheet looking something like this, hopefully a bar labeled in liquid 1, 2, and 3 should have the actual names in here. I can't give you all the answers, but you should have all your things labeled here. So similar to rhetorical graphs, you're just going to highlight your data like this, go insert, and insert the chart. So you see here that I have made a pie chart and not a bar graph. That's okay. If you do not have a bar graph, just go over here to the setup chart. And the pie chart option, you go from a pie chart to the column chart. Click that, you should be good to go. Now we've made a graph, but remember we have graphing rules. Mine is following the rules I made one earlier, tested out, but I want you guys to be making sure everything is labeled properly. So first things first, I want you guys scrolling down and checking that all this is working here. So let's go here. I'm also going down to customize and going down to chart axes and titles. Start off on the chart title. I do not like this title of flow rate centimeters per second versus substances. I would prefer us to have a better title. So let's again pick a better title to describe your graph. Once again, do not literally use the title, but pick a good title in here to describe your graph. So if you're going to make a title, you can pause now and come back when you're done. Now you have your title made, you can go up to this bar here and go from chart title. Do not worry about chart subtitle, you don't need that, but you do need a horizontal axis title. So your horizontal axis is the flat one that goes across here, and this is one that's going to have our substances on it. So you can come up with your own label here. I use substances, you can come up with your own label, but it should describe these liquids up here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your vertical axis title, and you're going to use this title, flow rate in centimeters per second. Your units are important, so please remember to include your units. You should just straight up use this title here. I'm giving it to you on a silver platter. Please use it. And once you have all these labeled, you have a pretty good graph. Make sure these columns are labeled too. If they are not, you want to go back and make sure you have everything highlighted here and labeled properly. And from here, you should have your graph. So once your graph looks similar to this and you like your data, you should have 4 columns, not 3 like mine. Come back to the video and we'll show you how to move this over to your Google Docs. Alright, so now you should have a chart that looks just like this, all ready to go and ready to put into your lab report. So what you're going to do is these 3 buttons here in the top right corner, you're going to click on these and you're going to scroll down to where it says copy chart. You're going to copy the chart That's all you need to do in this step. Now, if it's not already open, you should open up your flow rate lab that you are working on. And it should look something like this, hopefully a little more filled in on the rest of your questions. Go down to question at the very bottom, and that's where you're putting your graph in. All you're going to do is you're going to right click, and you're going to paste. Now, as you paste chart, your options are either to link to spreadsheet or paste unlinked. I'd recommend that you keep the link to spreadsheet. That means if you make changes on your spreadsheet you made it in, it'll also make changes on the chart in your Google Docs. So keep the link to your spreadsheet, it'll be good for you. So you paste that, and boom, there's your graph. Now I'll quickly show you why I want you guys to link it. So if we go back to the data you're using to graph it, let's say I realized that I made a math error and the flow rate of liquid 2 wasn't 5, but it was actually 0.75. Whereas I made a math error, made it convert my seconds properly, a lot of things could have happened. So make that change, click away, and see how this chart here changed, right? Liquid 2 suddenly got way smaller. Now instead of having to cut and paste the whole chart again, I can just go back to my Google Sheets, click update here, and boom, you got a new chart. So this is why the link is really useful. The only problem with the link though is that if you delete all your data, you'll also delete your chart. So please do not delete your data. I'm marking these whenever I mark them, so make sure it stays there for a while. So if you are concerned about that, you can also post it unlinked, but I do recommend you post it linked. So hopefully it helps you make a graph. Last thing I want to mention, though I should have mentioned in class already, is that your instructions here say use a different color for each liquid. If you're using Google Sheets, you can't do that. So don't worry about that part of the assignment. If you want to, you can just straight up delete it. But if you are graphing by hand, I would like you to graph with different colors. So if you're choosing to use the documents, don't worry about that. But if you're doing anything else, please different colors to help differentiate. Hope that helps, and good luck, guys.